This Sunday is November 1st, and many churches celebrate the Feast of All Saints on November 1st every year. For us in the Northern Hemisphere, it falls in the season of autumn, and those in the Southern Hemisphere, it falls in the season of spring. It is this special feast that is in that season of the mystery of life, dying and rising of life, in those two seasons. The feast remembers all the saints throughout history of humanity, both known and unknown. Now, there's some known common saints that we may be familiar with, such as Saint Francis of Assisi, or Mother Teresa, or Saint Catherine of Siena several years ago, who is considered a doctor of the church. There are also, the church recognizes that this feast recognizes that there are saints that are unknown, that are not officially recognized by the church, but they are known to us, saints such as family members or strangers who have shown us tremendous kindness and love that has transformed us in some way. In my family, the saints in my family are my dad and my brother, Tom, and my brother-in-law, Tony, who have died in the past several years. My dad, who was in a nursing home for 9 years, and when there was nothing left for him to physically do, all that was left was love, and it filled the room and changed and healed us. Or my brother Tom, who died of cancer, my brother-in-law Tony, who died of complications from Agent Orange as a Vietnam veteran. Both of them always encouraged me and our family to be who I am, to live as my best self, to be kind and giving and serving selflessly for others. They are the saints who remind me to love. Now, what's important is that sainthood has nothing to do with perfection and this sense of strict pureness, holiness, godliness that is above humanity. Sainthood is not about being perfect. It is about being at home in the world and being about the business of God's love as who we are, in the fullness of who we are, and as best we can. There's a great quote I found about sainthood. It's by Ken Sehested. And it talks about sainthood in ordinary life. He says, "You may never enter a lion's den or travel through a war zone or hear a prison door close behind your act of conscience. Mostly, you don't get to custom design the witness you bear, the woe you endure, or the promises you make to mend the world as it crosses your path. By and large, you weigh the choices that come your way without the fanfare of stardom's spotlight, your picture in the paper, or even angels whispering in your ear. Saintly work is more common than you think. Saintly work is more common than you think. It is about being about the business of God's work of love in ordinary life. And the key thing is that saints that are both known and recognized, the popular stardom saints, and the unknown saints are just like all of us. All of us humans, we are loved sinners. We are all a mixed bag of goodness, of brokenness. We make mistakes. We fail often. We miss the mark. That's what sin is. We miss the mark. And yet we are loved by God. And saints remind us to walk and live in the way of God's love with all our imperfections, with all of that, by living and serving as the best of who we are, the best we can in who we are and where we are and how we can love and serve one another. And the Beatitudes in today's gospel remind us that, of how the saints lived their lives, because the Beatitudes, that mindset of how to live and serve as God does. when Jesus says to the crowd, "Blessed are you who are poor in spirit, because the reign of God is yours. And blessed who are sorrowing, you will be consoled. Blessed who hunger and thirst for holiness, for justice, for peace, you will be fulfilled. And blessed are those who have the courage to face persecution, because God is with you." Today, we celebrate those who have gone before us, those who show up in the way to God, who reveal to us that God's love is palpable. It is real right here, today, and now. The saints did that by the way they lived their lives. They showed up as fully human, loved sinners, and lived their life with their frailty, their full self, loving and serving the best way they could. Not with perfection, but with compassion. So this week, I have another quote to share from the 17th century. It's called a nun's prayer from the St. Albans Abbey, from a monastery, that prayed, "I do not want to be a saint. Some of them are so hard to live with. Give me the ability to see good things in unexpected places and talents in unexpected people. And give me, O Lord, the grace to tell them so." So this week, let us practice our sainthood by how we can love and serve one another and find God's love in unexpected places and unexpected people, and be affirming and tell them so. How do we love one another in the ordinary of life when saintly work is more common than we think? Let us have the courage to live life and serve with love, and bringing all of our life in the fullness of who we are, loved sinners and saints, making our way home to God. Amen.